You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
It's the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else.
I'm Alan Ray, and I do this for free. Today is Friday, December 11th, 2020. We're closing in on Christmas. This is the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else. I'm your humble host, Alan Ray. It's called I Do This for Free, and I do this for free. Not a dime paid. Nope. Still broke. Probably going to be broke till the day I die. It's just going to get worse. Such a positive outlook in life, right? Got a big show for you today. We're going to touch on a lot of stuff today and maybe even have a special guest drop in. I don't know. Stay tuned. Going to be a big one. Don't go nowhere. You know, a lot of people are mourning the death of Chuck Yeager, first pilot to fly supersonic speed, died this week at age 97. Okay, I'm going to put this out there. It's sad that we lost a great American hero such as Chuck Yeager, but I have a hard time really mourning his loss. This dude lived to 97 years old. First pilot to break the sound barrier in 1947 in the Bell X-1 experimental rocket plane. This guy was a man's man. I know you can't say that in 2020, but I'm going to say it. He was a man's man. This guy was cantankerous, grouchy, didn't put up with people's crap. The last time he broke the sound barrier was in 2012 at the age of 89. Jumped into another modern fighter jet, took off, and broke it again. This guy lived the life. 90 years old, he went parachuting for his 90th birthday. All right, this guy, if you want to celebrate a life, this guy is the life to celebrate. You know, my views on death and dying have changed so much over the years that I look at somebody like this, died at 97 years old, went parachuting when he was 90, broke the sound barrier again at age 89, just to prove that he could do it. You know, and I'm digging through a bunch of stuff, and Time Magazine, I think, had the best tribute to him. And I'm going to read this verbatim. Says Frank Borman did not expect to hear congratulations from Chuck Yeager one day in 1962, and that's just as well because he didn't get one. It wasn't a surprise that Yeager wouldn't extend much courtesy to the likes of Borman. There were rules, after all, and there was a hierarchy, after all, and Yeager, who on December 7th died at the age of 97, was then the commander of a flight school at Edwards Air Force Base in California, where test pilots were trained. Borman was just one more young Air Force officer who had scrapped and competed to be assigned to such a coveted a billet as learning under Yeager. The first person to break the sound barrier, a feat he'd accomplished 15 years earlier. At the time, a lot of Yeager's officers were being seduced away by NASA, which promised them a chance not to just fly jets through the atmosphere, but rocket ships high above it. Neither man could know in 1962 what history had in store for Borman, and that he would become not just any astronaut, but a figure on the space-aged Mount Rushmore, commanding Apollo 8 in 1968, the first mission to orbit the moon. All they knew, as Borman told me in the conversation in 2015, was that he was one more young defector from Yeager's flying family, and that would not make for an easy audience with this commander. Colonel, Borman said when he presented himself before Yeager, who was seated at his desk going through paperwork, "I just got some good news." "What's that?" Yeager said, looking up with only passing interest. "I was just selected to go to NASA and join the astronaut corps." Yeager said nothing at first, merely nodding. Then at last he spoke. "Well, Borman," he said, "you can kiss your Air Force career goodbye." And then he looked back down at his work. If Yeager was gruff, and he was, if he was unsentimental, and he was, if he was brusque and dismissive and impossible to rattle but easy to annoy, and he was, there was almost no other way he could be. You don't fly 64 combat missions in World War II, shooting down 13 German planes, including 5 in one day, to earn the honorific of flying ace without a tough hide. You don't get shot down over France, suffering leg and head wounds, and elude capture by the German army by hiking across the Pyrenees with French partisans, making it to neutral Spain and eventually returning to England by easily being moved. And you don't return to battle during Vietnam War at the age of 43 flying 127 missions if you are easily unsettled by such existential matters as injury and death. All of that was true of Yeager, and all of that would have been enough to earn him his own spot on aviation's more modest Rushmore, but it was on October 14th, 1947, when Yeager truly chiseled his name in flying history. Flying a Bell X-1 aircraft 13,000 meters, which is 43,000 feet, above the Mojave Desert, gunning his jet to nearly 700 miles per hour, thereby exceeding the speed of sound and producing the first sonic boom ever created by human beings. The achievement was more than just stuff of record setting. At the time, nobody knew if challenging the sound barrier meant that the sound barrier would slap back, ripping to pieces any plane that tried to defy it. It didn't, and shortly after his historic flight, Yeager spoke almost indifferently about the experience, pronouncing it nice, and adding that it was just like riding a fast car. It was inevitable that the astronauts who trained under Yeager would eclipse their one-time mentor. What was flying an airplane compared to circling and walking on the moon, after all? Mention the name Yeager to school children in the 60s and they'd look back at you blankly. But mention names like Glenn and Armstrong and Shepard and Lovell and Aldrin and Grissom and, yes, Borman, well, that would get a reaction. It wasn't until 1979 when Tom Wolfe's book, The Right Stuff, was released in 1983, when the movie followed, that the world became reacquainted with Yeager. Wolfe understood what pilots understood, that it didn't matter where a man, and they were all men at the time, flew his machines, or what kinds of machines they were, aircraft or spacecraft. Either way, it was thousands or even millions of pounds of explosives, high-speed hardware controlled by a comparative flyweight bit of human. The stakes were mortal. The whole exercise was madness, but that was what made it worth doing. Wolfe fell all over himself applauding Yeager, calling him the most righteous of all possessors of the right stuff. But Yeager did not think much of that. Never mind that he flew a total of 341 kinds of different planes in his life. Never mind that he not only broke the sound barrier the first time, but many times after at much higher speeds. Never mind that in 2002, at age 79, he flew an F-15 jet at speeds of more than 1,000 miles per hour just because he could. None of that, Yeager believed, was the result of any kind of natural stuff, right or not. It was practice. It was work. It was nothing more. I'm going to stop that article right there. It's in Time Magazine if you want to look it up. Chuck Yeager, 97 years old. Am I going to mourn his death? No. I'm going to celebrate his death. This guy lived the life that you and I should strive to live. Fearless, doing things just to be innovative, just to get going on, getting man advanced. Jumping out of an airplane at age 90. This is how you live a life that's to be lauded. So here's to you, Chuck Yeager. Happy landings, buddy. 97 years old, past sun. This is the way you live, folks. Now, that being said, we got a whole lot more to talk about. But before we do a whole lot of anything else, we have a special guest returning from his stint over in a city a few miles away and dropping in on me. I'm thinking just to eat my lunch and do his laundry. Anthony's with me today. Anthony, how you doing?
Doing good. How's you, old man?
I'm doing all right, man. It's good to have you here because, quite honestly, I was sitting there thinking, God, do I have enough material to actually, get through this show? I wasn't sure. So now that you're here, I can, at least dog on you a little bit and you can talk and say what's on your mind. When he walked in the door to do his laundry, I was like, oh, good, you're here. You want to do the show with me? And he's like, sure. I was like, what do you want to talk about? He goes, let's talk about geeky Christmas gifts. So you know what? Here we go. Nerd alert. Nerd alert. Definitely have the nerd alert.
Yep. All right.
Close to your microphone there, man. There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. For the nerd in your life, it can be kind of difficult to understand the appeal that they might have for certain things, but they can be easily bought gifts for if you know where to look. One of the biggest things I've found is, quite recently, is Displate. Displate is like posters, only they're printed on metal sheets.
Is that Displate, like DISPLATE?
Yes, DISPLATE.com.
So posters printed on metal sheets.
Yes, they have a wide range of categories, including...
Space stuff?
Yes, space stuff.
Yes!
They also have TV, video games, maps, landscapes, basically anything. They're paintings on metal.
And now, are they just etched into the metal, or are they actually colored?
They're actually colored.
Oh, well, that's cool.
They also have etchings too.
Huh. I'll be darned. How do you think they hold up? I mean, show me what picture you had on your phone. I want to take a look at that.
All right.
And how expensive are these things? You know, geek gifts can get expensive.
Yes, they can. The one I'm looking at is $44 for a...
that's not bad.
17.7 by 12.6.
Just over a sheet of paper size. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can choose the size, you can choose the gloss, you can choose the material. It's
an extra large is 35 by 25, and how much is that? That's like $149. That's still not too bad. Those are kind of cool picks.
Yeah.
I would do that. I would totally, just the one she's holding in this picture, I would totally do. It looks like some futuristic scene.
Yeah.
I want to get like a Planet of the Apes one. You think they would do that for me?
They probably have that on there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe the picture from when they're like going through space, and then he's like, you know, reporting back to Earth. That little picture they have of space in front of the spaceship with the nose cone of the rocket and the dashboard and everything. I want that in one of those metal pictures to hang up here in Gadsden Studios.
They probably have something like that.
All right,
you just have to look through the site.
Father's Day is coming up pretty soon, so you know you got 6 months. Start saving your money, kid.
Yeah. But then we also have Geeks Shopping or geekshopping.com.
Geekshopping.com.
Yeah, kind of right on the nose there. Geekstore.com.
Oh, Geek Store. Is that GEEKSTORE?
Yep.
Geekstore.com. What do they have?
They have all your little interesting bits and baubles, things like ornaments, clothing, even a rubber ducks based on your favorite geek concept, whether it's video games, sci-fi, fantasy.
Like Sith rubber ducks?
Yeah, they'll have a Sith rubber duck.
Sith rubber ducks.
It's also where the Star Trek communicator, Bluetooth Star Trek communicator.
Yeah.
That I got, that's from that place.
It's right in here. So last Christmas, he got me a Star Trek communicator that goes, it's like magnetic. It sticks right to your chest where, you know, just like a Star Trek thing. And it'll answer your phone for you. You press it and it answers your phone. You can talk on it just like a communicator. Geek paradise. It's really cool. And I've actually showed pictures of that, and a couple people are like, I am so jealous. It's like, it's cool. And it works. That's the funniest part is it works. You just leave your phone in your back pocket and put that on there and answer it once in a while just to be a total nerd.
Yeah, and I have the first generation one where you flick.
Yeah, we got that for you, the flip phone or the flip thing, communicator.
Yeah, the flip communicator.
Yeah.
From the original.
Yep. So, yeah, a couple of late Christmas ideas for the geek in your life, for the nerd. And if you're listening to this show, the odds of you actually being one of these geeks or nerds is probably pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. I know what my demographic looks like. And yeah, we're that's where this is going quite a bit. So you got some mail yesterday.
Yes.
You want to say tell us what was in that package that was delivered to my door? How long have you been out of my house now?
Yeah, I got that 2 years ago. I ordered that 2 years ago while I was.
You ordered that 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and you just got it. Yeah. Anthony, tell everybody what you just got.
I just got Cyberpunk 2077.
Now, you showed me the trailer for that, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, about that.
And it's just now coming out.
Yes.
Why? And I know you'll know the answer to this. Why the delay?
They were trying to make one of the most immersive RPG video games in existence. This game is massive.
So you've had it. I'm assuming you played it all night instead of sleeping, and you went to work and you came back home. Now you're in my house. Have you experienced it enough to give us a rundown on how well they did?
No. That is how big this game is, okay? I have experienced the opening to 2 life paths. This is one of the most amazing things about this is that when you start the game, you are given 3 life path choices. you're given the Nomad, which is basically your country boy life path.
Yep.
You start outside of Night City, and you're basically from this group that roams what's left of America. And, yeah, there's this whole lore to it that there's a giant war with nukes and all that. You're basically roaming.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah,
all the things that make a video game such as that a good one.
Yeah. So you start out outside.
So, wait a minute. Before you go much further, does Keanu Reeves actually come into this game at all?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah. He'll come into this game later on in the story mode after a certain event in which you're basically kind of wake up in the trash heap.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he comes in.
I woke up in a few trash heaps.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the apocalypse.
No.
But I woke up in a few trash heaps.
No, and this doesn't have to do with the apocalypse.
In your dad's younger, wilder days.
But, yeah, there's the Nomads. Then there's the Street Kid.
Yep.
The Street Kid, you've come back after 2 years in Atlanta to Night City, and you basically have to get reacquainted with everything. I don't know the Corpo one because I haven't played that one.
So let me guess what you're going to be doing for the rest of the weekend. You're here already on Friday doing your laundry, which you usually do on Saturday.
Yep.
Because, folks, if you're listening to this, and I'll let you in on the family secret, the reason he comes over here and does this is A, to raid their fridge, and B, because he's too cheap to go get his own quarters.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but that's fine because he saves his money, and we get to see him once in a while, and that's a good thing. The other two don't bring their laundry home. They're pretty much just, a state away. They're all on the other side of the state, and we don't see them unless their car breaks or something like that, which, I even kidnapped something from my new son-in-law to force him and my daughter to come back across state to get it after the wedding, and they didn't do it. They made me bring it back. I was so bummed. But, Christmas is coming up. There's hope. Maybe they'll come across. So, but anyway, it's what, Cyberpunk 2020, you said?
2077.
So Cyberpunk 2077. Because, we still have a few days. This entire landscape could turn into Cyberpunk.
I wish.
I mean, this is 2020.
Yeah, and that's a funny thing that a sequel to the Cyberpunk 2077 is based on a tabletop role-playing game, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
And one of the sequels to Cyberpunk was Cyberpunk 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think that's where the whole corporate wars started, and
who made this game?
CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red. See, I know he's going to know all this stuff. We didn't plan any of this. He just walked in and I said, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" Yeah. As soon as I get done eating what you're going to eat for lunch. Okay, well, and I'm not holding that against you, even though I've mentioned it 10 times now.
Yeah.
yeah. But you got to understand, you're twice my size, so I'll let you.
Yeah,
it's survival of the fittest. Hey, I'm old. I got to stay skinny. I might be in a wheelchair someday, and I want you pushing me around. So.
Yeah, I'll push you off a cliff.
Yeah, no respect. But anyway, yeah. So far, you're giving this game a what? A 5 out of 5 stars? 4 out of 5 stars? Are you just not drawn enough on it yet?
I have not drawn enough on it yet. There are some bug issues with the animation and the game stalling.
They'll fix those as time goes on.
Yeah, they'll fix those as time goes on.
You would think 2 years developing this game, 2 years, that they would have 100% of that crap worked out. Or is it
Actually, it's more than 2 years. This has been going on for about 5 years.
They've been planning this for 5 years. They don't have all the bugs worked out?
No.
What the heck, man?
This is a big game.
Now, just because I don't know, but I do a lot of software, like recording software and stuff like that. They'll download patches and things like that as you go along, right?
Yes, they'll download patches. They already have one in the works to try and fix a number of the bugs. But the reason why there are bugs is because the city is alive. There's
so much going on.
Yeah, there's so much going on. There's NPCs doing other things when you're not interacting with them.
Now, and like I said, I'm kind of RPG, just if you've never heard me talk about this before, AJ and I have talked about different games and stuff like this on this program, and I left off at Sonic the Hedgehog and Guitar Hero 1, okay? That's where I left off. I have, Guitar Hero 1 they bought for me when I quit playing music for 10 years and went back to college, and they knew I'd miss it, so as a joke, they bought me Guitar Hero. And I would sit there and play it till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was great. But just as I'm saying, this, even though it's on like a DVD or CD or whatever it is, it happens in the internet. Yeah. Basically, the game just kind of downloads all of the parameters. Yeah, all of the parameters for it. And then your gaming system connects you to their servers. So where this whole thing is located. Hooterville Internet Company and Hogfeed that we have out here in No Man's Land is probably not going to be optimum to play this game. It could be, because this is a single player. It's not actually online. It's just when you need updates, you go online and they will... You can't group play this? No, you cannot group play this. Really? Yes. The multiplayer group player thing is going to be a completely separate game. Huh. Yeah, they're going to come out with a completely separate game where you and everyone online can live in Night City and go after each other as you want. All right. Well, I didn't know any of this stuff. I mean, I'm just like, I know it got here, and your spidey senses were tingling because you called me and said, "Hey, there's a package out on the porch." Now it's in the house right now. So, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Amazon, for having the picture tracking. That's right. Yeah, and Amazon's got really good at that stuff. Yes. I mean, they also have good geek gifts, too. Oh, you can get anything on Amazon. Yeah. I only got a Elder Scrolls cookbook. That's another thing for geek gifts. Yeah, and and I want you to expand on this. You've been getting into this, and this is bachelor life right here, folks. What did you get tired of just the same 5 things for dinner every night, or what? Yeah, basically, yeah. And then you bought this. It's basically a video game or a program or something like that has to do with cooking. What is it? A book. An actual book. So it has to do with cooking, though. Yes, it goes through food stuff that are in the Elder Scrolls video game series. Elder Scrolls. Now, what kind of video game is that? It's like Skyrim, where you go around and it's a kind of fantasy role playing game. Okay. You go around swords and shields and all that. So it's all of the food that's presented in that. It's a lot of the food that's presented in that. Huh. Including alcoholic beverages. So this is an 18 plus or 21 plus. Mead? Yes, mead. It tells you how to make your own mead. You gonna try it? I wish I could, but I don't think my apartment's optimal for that. But you gotta have like an open fire pit or something like that? No. You'll be out in the front. You'll be out in the front yard with a big fire pit doing something. What are you doing? I'm making mead. Go away. Yeah. No, away from you. Dress like one of the characters. Away with you. Yeah. Villager. No. But it also has you can find Star Wars cookbooks, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft, a whole bunch. There's it's cookbooks based on video games. Based on video games and I know you've been messing around with different recipes. What have you tried? I have tried a different the seasoning mixes that they have. Yep. I haven't really gotten into the everything else that's in there. There's also, because different types of recipes require different types of meat and veggies and all that. Oh, okay. So you're going to go through this and do quite a few. What have you tried so far? I have tried, like I said, a couple of the seasonings. Yeah. That's about it on different dishes. Like I use the Nordic seasoning on stew meat. Yeah. And that was really good. It gave it a very woodsy flavor. Really? Yeah, because it has a bunch of cinnamon and things along that line. I'll be darned. Yeah. So it's kind of a cool way to get, younger generation into cooking. I mean, they got all these cooking shows and stuff, and which I was amazed. I for our anniversary, I really had no clue what to get your mom for anniversary, and we just, we're dealing, the satellite company that we have television through just won't come out and fix their crap, and it's just dead now.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Let's just cancel it. And I got her an Amazon Fire Stick. And I didn't know that there's a bunch of cooking shows on there that you can, like, you know, press a button and it actually brings the recipe up that they're making. And, you know, your mom's just like freaking out going, hey, this is so cool. And she's just like going back and forth. I'm going, oh, well, I guess we're going to be trying some new things.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached the bottom of the hour on that note. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more shenanigans, more stuff. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Listen now and don't forget, if you go for that solid jive, you can always keep the dream alive. Palin with Al.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
That's right. Go tell Al you love him. We are back. It is the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else. I am your refreshingly non-political host for the evening, Alan Ray.
And I am Anthony.
That's right, joined by my son, Anthony. We were just on that geekstore.com. They have Spock Duck.
Yes, they have Spock Duck.
I need Spock Duck. I need Spock Duck to fulfill my life. And we're also joined by Ava, who is just now laying on my freshly vacuumed carpet, scratching herself, which is going to make it all hairy again. But that's okay. Ava Doggo is part of the family, so she can be part of the podcast, I guess. Welcome back. Yep, we were on geekstore.com. They got Spock Duck, Kurt Duck.
Yeah, McCoy Duck.
McCoy Duck. Do they have the red shirt duck that explodes or something that dies, you know?
I don't think so.
It just melts. You get it, and like a day later, it just melts.
That would be funny.
That's things and the way I would run them if I were in charge. So, moving on. There is one thing that is on my Christmas list that you might have to get with your siblings and your mom to get me. There is a guy called The Most Famous Artist. He has taken credit for the Utah and California monoliths, and he's selling 3 replicas for $45,000 each. I think we need a monolith in the backyard. Just measure off the back 3 acres. Just measure off and find the dead center and just put one of those monoliths right there for no reason at all.
I'm pretty sure that if I can go to a construction site, I can find one of the unused I-beams, and we can use that as a monolith.
No, I want the metal ones. I want the original ones. We're going to sketch on it. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those weird...
People
what the
come.
heck does it mean?
Just leave it there for eternity. Yeah. Just leave it there for all time.
Aliens come down.
10,000 years from now, they'll dig that up and go, "Who is Epstein?"
And why did somebody find it important to etch out Epstein didn't kill himself? What is the meaning behind this?
What is it? Must be some worship site. What if we're wrong about all that? You know, everything that an archaeologist digs up, this must be a worship site. What if it was just a big latrine?
I know. That's stuff I think about in the shower.
Yeah, so do I. It's just like, okay, you found this down like 30 feet, and it's got these high arches and all this stuff. What if it was just a big, giant pit stop along some super highway that they used, and that's where you got out and bought snacks and took a dump?
Exactly. One of those little rest stops.
This is why it's so important to develop time travel. Because I need answers to these questions. You know, what were the pyramids really? Did they show movies on them?
That would be so hilarious.
Yeah, it's probably something so stupidly simple that we would be just so disappointed if we went back in time. It's like, why did you build these great structures? Because the sun, when it comes up, was like in our eyes in the village.
Yeah.
So we built these 3 pyramids so we'd have some shade. Look where you're at. You're out in the middle of a desert.
Exactly.
There's no shade out here. So you made these just for shade. That's exactly why we made them. Well, I guess we'll go back to 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, the archaeology, everything is this is significant. No, it's significant because you found it.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't significant back then.
Yeah, it's probably like all the pottery and everything. It's just like, yeah, back then it was normal. Now it's significant.
They dug up these dolls, you know, and it's like, these were probably some worship thing that, you know, it's just a woman with a big belly and blah, 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 blah. You know, you go back, you know, 10,000 years and every kid has one and they were some action figure. Yeah. This is Manolea Ugg, who dove into a volcano to save us. And she's a hero, so we made her an action figure. You give them to all the kids at Christmas.
Exactly. Or the ones at solstice.
What if we have it all wrong? I want to know the answer to these questions. So it's just like these monoliths. You know, they started appearing and disappearing and appearing. And the thing about it is even this guy says, you know, I didn't make all of these. And so there's one that appeared on the Isle of Wight. And they asked him about it, and he said, the monolith is out of my control at this point. Godspeed to all the aliens working hard around the globe to propagate the myth.
Exactly.
So, you know, what if he started something?
Yeah, he accidentally.
And he what is this from? This is from independent.co.uk. And I love this. He says, my guess is that some alien, cheeky, and terrible teenagers left home with their parents' UFO and started planting metal monoliths around the world. First in Utah, and then in Piatra and Niemt. And I'm honored that they chose our city. This was from the mayor of the area around Utah. So, yeah, we don't know these things for sure.
Yeah.
We see these big monoliths. We see structures in England that, mimic. There's a lot of structures that look about the same.
Yeah.
And we just assume there's some type of worship thing.
Yeah.
What if it's a sheep shearing factory or something like that we just don't know, So I need answers to these things. But yes, $45,000 will get you a replica of the monolith they found in Utah. I think it's a cheap price. I'm ready to have one. Now, misconceptions about the pyramids and things like that have been going on for a long time. And I ran across this in ScienceAlert.com. Sir Isaac Newton, you remember him?
Yes.
Gravity.
The guy who literally made physics a unfortunate thing in science and schooling.
I laughed because he invented gravity. No, gravity's been around for a while.
No, he just realized what thing that is gravity.
He is the first woke physics major.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, if you drop this, it falls at the same speed of that, but they're different weights. Oh.
There must be something keeping everything down.
Yeah, why don't we go flying off the Earth into space? These questions and more on the next Ask Sir Isaac Newton. Well, even though he was an acclaimed physicist and mathematician and astronomer, and he may be one of the most renowned scientists of all time, but his wide-ranging research took him into a strange place outside of what we now consider to be science. Amidst his outstanding legacy of academic output, numerous fragments and unpublished notes, many discovered after his death in 1727, stand as a testament to his long and said to be obsessive interest in matters of the occult, alchemy, and biblical apocalypse theory. These mystical learnings, much of which have been considered heretical thinking in Newton's day, are evidenced in some fragmentary manuscripts notes currently being auctioned by Sotheby's. So you can buy these notes at Sotheby's. I mean, it's not too late to get these to give them somebody to Christmas. In this case,
see how much they go for.
Oh my gosh, there are millions, I'm sure. In this case, the texts are literally fragments, and that they are the scorched survivors of a fire said to have been started by an upset candle accident, accidentally toppled by Newton's dog, Diamond. The dog screwed it up. Ava, you hear that? You hear that, Ava? Don't topple any candles in here, okay? There's important stuff that I'm doing.
Don't be mad at me, Dad.
I'm getting the look like, why are you mad at me? What did I do? Sad puppy dog, guys. Anyways, so, yeah, apparently he was trying to find proof for his theory of gravitation, but in addition, the ancient Egyptians were thought to have held the secrets of alchemy that have since been lost, said Gabriel Heaton, Sotheby's manuscript specialist. Today, these seem disparate areas of studies, but they didn't seem that way to Newton in the 17th century. These notes are part of Newton's astonishingly complex web of interlinking studies, natural philosophy, alchemy, theology, only parts of which he ever believed were appropriate for publication. It is not surprising that he did not publish on alchemy, since secrecy was widely held tenet of alchemical research, and Newton's theological beliefs, if made public, would have cost him his career. So he was out there behind the scenes trying to tie alchemy, apocalyptic theology, things like the measurements of the pyramids, things like that, the occult. He was trying to find the accurate description of the Egyptian unit of measurement called the royal cubit. And he believed that if he quantified the royal cubit, he might be able to refine his own theories on gravitation, and in doing so, provide an unprecedentedly accurate measurement of the circumference of the Earth, while also unlocking other obscure and sacred geometrical insights that might ultimately predict when the world would end as foretold by the Bible. So, if you think that, Sir Isaac Newton just, this is gravity. Here you go, kids. Have fun with it. No.
Yeah.
He was a busy man behind the scenes.
Yeah, he was doing other stuff. The gravity thing kept everyone distracted while he was doing his actual
stuff. And you got to also understand the day, a lot of, 1727, they thought there were witches and warlocks and things like that. And you didn't really come out and say, yes, I'm studying alchemy, because that would throw a lot of suspicion your way.
Yeah, by that time and that day and age, man, you come out in favor of alchemy, you may end up
tied at the stake.
Yeah, you may end up with a very intense case of sunburn.
But to me, I mean, I'm interested in knowing what these say. I mean, even just the bits and measures. Because trying to pull like biblical apocalypse, the occult, alchemy, and then tie them all with, your theory of gravity, and you're trying to predict the circumference of the earth through all these things, and trying to predict the end of the world by putting all these things together. You were a busy person if you were doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So that gives me a whole different insight on Sir Isaac Newton. I had no idea that he was doing things like he was trying to discover the powers of the dark side.
Something, dark side.
And it'd be interesting. I mean, it makes me wonder the things that burned up, what he did find out. I mean, people have been studying this stuff, hieroglyphics, things like that, ever since we found them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like cuneiforms, different things like that, when they first found them, were thought to just be decorations on a piece of, stone. Oh, these tablets were probably just used for decoration, and these are just patterns. And for like hundreds of years, they just sat in mothballs before somebody got them out and said, hey, and they went looking for that key that's on a wall in 3 different languages. And one of them was cuneiforms. And they said, hey,
this is a language.
Yeah, this is a language, and we have the key to unlock it right here. And since then, they've been able to read quite a bit of it. Some of it's still a mystery, but they've been eating a lot, or they've been reading a lot of this stuff. And we've unlocked a lot of the early civilizations' thinkings and stuff like that.
We have forgot a lot more than we have found.
Well, yeah. And, and I still hold the theory that
the multiple dark ages.
Yeah, multiple dark age theory. And I've said this before, maybe not on this program, but I've said it before. We have had more than one dark age. And, some of the things we look at now and go, how did they do that? How did they take these multi-ton stones and put them in place where you can't even slide a piece of paper between them? And they've lasted thousands of years. And we have to tear a house down after like 100 years because it just rots.
Yeah.
And you look at some of this stuff. Obviously, we've reached several pinnacles as mankind, and we didn't just slowly progress like a lot of archaeologists think we did. Now, a lot of archaeologists will probably argue with me, but you point to the obvious and go, well, explain this. You can't explain it.
Yeah, like with the burning of the Great Library in Alexander.
Right.
All the knowledge that was there is now lost. Because that's gone. Nobody else had any copies of it, and Rome basically kind of took over Greece there. And
the lesson we learned from that is back up your files, kids.
Yes, back up your files, all of them.
Even if they're written files, photocopy them, store them in a fireproof safe. But yeah, and to me, that's just this stuff right here. I can get off on a tangent with this stuff because this interests me. I can read things like that. And like I said, to me, just looking around you, looking at what archaeologists have found, and they're starting to actually, I think the field of archaeology is starting to agree that we have had multiple dark ages and multiple peak ages. We didn't just start off and running into trees and then pick up a stick and, just slowly develop since then. We have developed. We have crashed. We've developed more. We've crashed. We've developed even more. We've crashed.
Yeah.
And I think these crashes occur because of wars, because of famine and
religious,
other
invasions by other
invasions that have destroyed a lot of people, natural disasters.
Yeah, there's like this
pandemics.
Historical choke point where something happened And it literally caused the vast majority of humanity to sort of bottleneck.
Yeah.
And it's also thought that bottlenecking is where most of our genetic diseases come from.
And really, quite honestly, you could almost see us starting to dwindle down again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just it. You reach a certain point of intellect and you reach a certain point of peaking, and you become complacent and you think you got it made and dumb yourselves down. And then next thing you know, some natural disaster, think about the razor thin wire we exist on right now. We know how to do some pretty incredible things. I can log onto this computer. I can send my voice all over the planet just through the internet. There's things we have. There's things we do. We have all this knowledge in our back pocket, and we take pictures of our food and duck face selfies and put it on social media.
Yeah.
Instead of actually improving our brain. But that being said, what runs all of this is electricity. And if the power goes out, nobody knows how to can food. Nobody knows how to grow their own garden, hardly. Hardly anybody knows how to preserve meat without a refrigerator or a freezer.
Yeah.
Most people have no clue how to do this. Literally millions and millions and millions and millions of people will just cease to exist after a few weeks if something as simple as electricity goes out.
Yeah, for a couple of months.
So we have actually set ourselves up as a planet to be the next Atlantis.
Yeah.
10,000 years from now, they'll dig up all of our structure and go, these people were incredible. What happened? Well, somebody shut off the lights.
Yeah.
So we're done. So, yeah, I hate to be doom and gloom about it, but I mean, I'm just being matter of fact. I just honestly believe that if you were to look at man's progression over the centuries, it looks more like a little progressing hill ride. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The hills just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we could be on top of one of the hills right now, staring off into the abyss that we're about ready to plummet into.
Yeah, let's enjoy the ride while we can.
I mean, if 2020 doesn't prove that, what does?
Exactly.
So the great philosophical mind of Alan Ray.
Maybe now on to cheese and wine.
Maybe not. And now on to something really important. Yeah, cheese and wine. Eating cheese and drinking wine may help decrease cognitive decline. According to medindia.net, foods we eat can have a direct impact on our cognitive health in our later years, according to a new study. The findings of the study are published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Diseases. The study was spearheaded by the principal investigator, Ariel Willett. It is a first-of-its-kind large-scale analysis that links specific foods to later-in-life cognitive acuity. Now, Willett, Clinidents, and their team studied data collected from 1,787 aging adults ranging from 46 to ranging from 46 to 77 years of age. Apparently, I didn't drink enough wine and eat enough cheese as I was getting older. Through the UK Biobank. Participants performed a fluid intelligence test as part of a touchscreen questionnaire at baselines between 2006 and 2010, and then in 2 follow-up evaluations from 2012 through 2013, and again between 2015 and 2016. The Fluid Intelligent Test analysis provides an in-time snapshot of the individual's ability to think on the fly. Participants also responded to questions about their food and alcohol consumption at baseline and throughout the 2 follow-up assessments. The Food Frequency Questionnaire asked volunteers about their intake of raw vegetables, fresh fruit, dried fruit, and salad, cooked vegetables, processed meat, poultry, oily fish, lean fish, beef, lamb, pork, cheese, bread, cereal, tea and coffee, beer and cider, white wine, red wine, champagne, and liquor. The 4 most significant findings from the study are this. And Willett states, I was really surprised that a result suggested that the responsibly eating cheese and drinking red wine every day, now responsibly, which is just a sip of red wine and a chunk of cheese, are not just good for helping us cope with our current coronavirus pandemic, but perhaps also dealing with an increasingly complicated world that never seems to slow down. Now we're talking mentally. So I kind of have it made in this department.
Hey, you.
I at least cheese every day.
Yeah.
That is my kryptonite. The reason I don't have a 6-pack is because
cheese.
I like cheese. I'm not even going to lie to you. I probably have more than I should eat every day. But that's just the way I am. That's my life. If you don't like it, don't live my life.
Exactly.
So, yes, a little bit of wine, a little bit of cheese, soaking up some rays, staying with the positive waves, baby.
Always with the positive waves.
Always with the positive waves. We're coming up on the end of the show already, and before we go, we have to talk about space spiders.
Yay! At least I have a freaking, when we go into space, I'll still have a job.
Yes, they've sent spiders into space, and now they're probably going to need you up there to exterminate them.
Yeah, they're probably going to be some kind of weird mutated
giant space spiders. Well, this isn't so exciting. Basically, what happened was they sent these spiders to space.
Yeah.
And they basically, when they started spinning webs, and then I'll just quote from this, under normal gravity conditions, orb web spiders tend to build asymmetrical webs with the center or hub positioned towards the upper edge. When resting and waiting for prey, the spiders sit in their hub with their heads facing downward, allowing them to quickly pounce on prey in the direction of gravity. Because of this, science figured that the spiders would be thrown off kilter when exposed to microgravity. Experiments done in 2008 aboard the ISS affirmed these suspicions, revealing the symmetrical web construction. So instead of asymmetrical, it was completely symmetrical. Then they had just round, right in the middle of everything. So what happened is they messed around with why this was happening, and they put a light above the spider. And the position of the light helped the spider figure out where they were in relation to the ground, and they went back to building asymmetrical webs and pointing down.
Yeah, because most insects are actually attracted to light. Most insect spiders prey upon.
So it has nothing to do with gravity. It has more to do with light.
Yeah, it has to do with the light.
You're the expert. You study. You're licensed in this stuff, not me.
Yes.
So, okay, and there you have it. So you're not surprised at this.
No.
All right. So, yeah, it was kind of a happy accident, but it's one of them deals that they figured out that these spiders were more attuned to light, and that it positioned them with their head down and everything. And I have no idea what this is going to mean in the grand scheme of life, the universe, and everything. But
trying to see what would be able to withstand microgravity, probably.
Probably. I mean, maybe you're going to need spiders on the way to Mars or whatever.
Hey, you never know what kind of insects are out there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there you have it. Some useless knowledge. And you're going to leave, I do this for free, just a little bit smarter than when you came in.
Hopefully.
It's not, I mean, at least you'll be able to carry on some interesting conversations at your Christmas party.
Yeah.
That, you're probably not going to have because you're supposed to be locked in your house and wearing a mask all the time, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Exactly. This is non-political, so don't go there.
Yeah.
So don't have Christmas parties, kids. Remember, they have Zoom Christmas parties. You can hit on that chick up in the far right corner. Hey, baby.
yeah, that'll be.
Sir, we're all listening to you. Dating in the age of pandemic cannot be comfortable.
No.
It's got to be some awkward social situations. And we've seen proof of this with, people doing unseemly things on Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I had a Zoom meeting and nothing unseemly happened to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not had a Zoom meeting yet. I did, however, I was in Staples the other day, and they have these things that attach to your chairs, and they're big green screens.
Yeah, people on the Zoom meeting I was at use those.
I want to get one and just have like hellfire burning behind me all the time and just sit there with maybe some little implanted horns on and say, yes.
Wait, you're Al?
Yes, I'm Al. All right, we've wrapped the show up. I'm Alan Ray.
And I'm Anthony.
Thank you for joining us for I Do This for Free on a non-political Friday night, mostly. We'll be back next week with Hardcore Patriot. I'll be back Sunday with Circumspice, the right side of Michigan. God bless you. If I don't talk to you again, have a Merry Christmas. We'll talk again soon.